Welcome from our YouTube channel. In today's presentation, we will cover the ongoing intense clashes between the Myanmar military government and the Arakan Army AA, as well as the historical background of the Rohingya conflict. Additionally, we will explore the key reasons behind these events and present historical insights that international travelers should not miss when visiting this region. Whether you're a traveler, a history lover, or simply curious about Myanmar's rich heritage, this channel is your window to the soul of Arakan. The formation and history of the Rakhine people. The Rakhine people, one of the 135 officially recognized ethnic groups by the government of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar. They primarily reside in Rakhine State, formerly Arakan, coastal region in western Myanmar. The Rakhine ethnic group comprises 7 subgroups: Rakhine, Cayman, Kami, Dainet, Maramaji, Miro, and Thet. In Myanmar, the Rakhine people constitute approximately 4% of the total population, with communities also present in Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, and the United States. The majority of Rakhine people practice Theravada Buddhism and predominantly speak the Rakhine language. The Rakhine language is closely related to Burmese, with both languages descending from Old Arakans. Currently, Rakhine State is experiencing significant political and social changes due to ongoing conflicts between the Myanmar military and the Arakan Army AA, a Rakhine armed group. The Arakan Army controls 15 out of 17 townships in the state, and over 90% of its territory, striving for self-determination. Historical significance and geographical context. Rakhine State is situated along the eastern coastline of the Bay of Bengal, separated from mainland Myanmar by the Rakhine Yoma mountain range. The Naf River, Caledon River, and Lemro River are the region's main waterways. Historically, Arakan served as a frontier region and trade hub, accessible by both land and sea routes between India and Southeast Asia. This geographical position significantly shaped Rakhine's history and culture. Rakhine history is broadly divided into 7 periods: the independent kingdoms of Danyawadi Vasali Lemro and Mrok U, the Burmese Konbong occupation from 1785 to 1826, British rule from 1826 to 1948, and its existence as part of independent Myanmar from 1948 onwards. The isolation of Rakhine from mainland Myanmar by the Rakhine Yoma Mountains and its coastal location fostered a distinct cultural identity among the Rakhine people. This geographical advantage facilitated easier contact with external cultures such as Indian, Bengali, Portuguese, and Dutch, leading to a broader cultural amalgamation than that influenced by mainland Myanmar. Positioned on a vital trade route, the region has historically been a focal point of rivalries and tensions. Today, its strategic importance is further highlighted by China's Belt and Road Initiative and India's competing influence. Thus, Rakhine's geography not only shaped its unique culture and history, but also remains a root cause of current political conflicts. There are various theories and legends concerning the ancestral origins of the Rakhine people. Arakanese legends and some Rakhine individuals claim descent from Aryans who originated from the Shakya clan in India. Others suggest that the Rakhine people may have emerged from a mixture of Indo-Aryan and Tibeto-Burman groups. It is believed that the Kanyans from the Irrawaddy Valley later integrated into the Arakanese race. The Chandra dynasty, which ruled the Danyawadi and Vasali kingdoms, is considered more likely to be of Indo-Aryan origin. Rakhine legends state that Danyawadi was founded by an unknown ethnic group that has since mixed with the Rakhine people. Rakhine oral traditions and records also include origin myths, such as one tracing their lineage to an intermarriage between a highland Miro and a lowland queen, or another tracing the ancestry of Rakhine monarchs back to Mahasamata, the legendary first monarch of the world. The term Rakhine is believed to be derived from the Pali word Arakaha, meaning protector. The Rakhine language is very closely related to Burmese, with both languages descending from Old Arakanese. Genetic analysis of the Rakhine population in Bangladesh indicates a closer genetic relationship to East Asian populations, particularly Koreans and Japanese, suggesting shared ancestral links. However, some Rakhine individuals exhibit a notable range of physical appearances, featuring traits from both South Asian and Southeast Asian backgrounds. Despite these genetic and physical variations, all identify as Rakhine community comprising 7 ethnic subgroups. Earliest archaeological evidence. While Arakanese legends claim that the history of the Arakanese people began in Rakhine, archaeological evidence supporting this claim is not yet available. The earliest recorded evidence suggests that civilizations began to emerge around the 4th century CE. At the ancient city of Danyawadi, remains of brick city walls, approximately 9.6 kilometers in perimeter, a palace site, and irrigation systems including water storage tanks have been found. The Mahamuni Buddha image in Danyawadi is a prominent Buddhist site, with legends stating that the Buddha himself visited the kingdom and the image was cast during his sojourn. At the ancient city of Vaisali, archaeological findings include brick city walls, evidence of Hindu and Indian cultural influences, and the Anandachandra inscription, carved in Sanskrit in 729 CE. This inscription is a unique historical record in Myanmar, where Sanskrit use was otherwise rare. Rakhine coins from the Vaisali period predate Burmese coinage by a millennium, featuring Srivatsa and bull motifs, along with the names of kings inscribed in Sanskrit. The art style of these coins shows strong parallels to the Gupta art style of India. Large Buddha images discovered at Letkit Tong further illustrate the architectural and Hindu influences of the Vaisali period. While Rakhine legends speak of Aryan descent and ancient kingdoms dating back to around 3000 BC, archaeological evidence points to the emergence of civilizations only from approximately the 4th century CE. This historical discrepancy highlights the complex interplay between oral traditions, legends, and tangible archaeological evidence in shaping the Rakhine people's identity and historical narrative. This divergence also underscores the challenges of viewing Rakhine history from a single perspective. Rakhine's geographical position as a frontier region between India and Southeast Asia directly led to significant Indianization in its early kingdoms. This influence is evident in language Sanskrit inscriptions, religion connections to Hindu deity Shiva, Brahmanical rituals, architecture Hindu and Indian styles, and coinage similarities to Gupta art. This suggests that Rakhine developed independently from mainland Myanmar, primarily receiving influences from the Indian subcontinent through external trade and cultural exchange. 3. Ancient Rakhine kingdoms. Rakhine history is shaped by successive periods of independent kingdoms, whose changing capitals reflect the region's evolving political, economic, and cultural landscape. Danyawadi Kingdom. Danyawadi is considered the first Arakanese kingdom, with its capital also named Danyawadi. This kingdom was located in northern Rakhine state, between the Kaladan and Therkang rivers. While legends claim its establishment around the 34th century BC, archaeological evidence suggests its existence between the 4th and 6th centuries CE, or possibly as early as the 1st century CE. Danyawadi's economy was based on trade between the East Pew, China, Mon, and the West Indian subcontinent, and it had fertile land for rice cultivation. Notable features include brick city walls, 9.6 km in perimeter, a palace site, and irrigation systems. Vaisali Kingdom. Following Danyawadi, Vaisali became the center of power in Arakan, flourishing from approximately 370 AD to 818 AD. This kingdom was ruled by the Chandra dynasty, whose existence is confirmed by coins and inscriptions. The Anandachandra inscription of 729 CE indicates the prevalence of Theravada Buddhism and claims the ruling dynasty descended from the Danyawadi. Cultural highlights include Arakanese coinage predating Burmese coinage featuring Srivatsa, bull motifs, and Sanskrit inscriptions, the colossal Vaisali Buddha image, and Brahmanical traditions. Vaisali's economy thrived through trade between the East Pew, China, Mon, and the West India, Bengal, Persia. Its territory extended as far as Chittagong. Lemro period 4 cities era. After the Vasali period 818 to 1406 AD, the Lemro period emerged. Lemro refers to the four ancient Rakhine cities Pu Sa, first Parian, second Parian, and Longyet that flourished along the Lemro River. During this era, Rakhine was a tributary state of the pagan empire from 1103 to 1167. King Mintai 1-791374, who ruled the Longyet dynasty, is notable for having one of the longest reigns in world history. Mrokyu Kingdom. The Mrokyu Kingdom was the last independent Rakhine kingdom, existing from 1429 to 1785. King Minsa Mon, with assistance from Bengal, regained his throne in 1429 and founded Mrokyu. The kingdom initially began as a vassal of Bengal from 1429 to 1430 or 1531. The Mrokyu period is considered the golden age of Rakhine history, flourishing as a trade hub and a powerful state in the Bay of Bengal region from the 15th to the 18th centuries. Its territorial expansion included control over the Bay of Bengal coastline from 1599 to 1603 and the conquest of Chittagong around 1540–1590. Mrokyu had complex relations with Bengal, starting as a vassal of the Bengal Sultanate. Despite being Buddhist kings, they adopted Islamic titles and used Islamic gold dinar coins from Bengal. The kingdom also had alliances and conflicts with the Portuguese involving recruitment of soldiers, trade, and rebellions, conflicts with the Mughal Empire losing Chittagong in 1666, and trade relations with the Dutch East India Company. Cultural legacies include numerous Buddhist temples, Shithong, Takantheon, Koathong, a multi-ethnic and multi-faith capital, mosques, libraries, and influences from Indian, Islamic, and Portuguese cultures. From the 18th century onwards, the kingdom gradually declined due to internal instability, rebellions, and the loss of Chittagong to the Mughals. It was finally conquered by the Kanbong dynasty in 1784 to 1785. The shifting of Rakhine kingdom capitals from Danyawadi to Vasali, then Lemro, and Mrokyu illustrates the dynamic nature of the region's political landscape. These changes were driven by factors such as evolving trade routes, changes in river courses, and strategic defensive needs. For example, Danyawadi was based on trade, and Vasali prospered through China-India maritime trade routes. Mrokyu's selection was due to its strategic coastal location and defensive systems that could flood the city to deter enemies. This indicates that Rakhine's centers of power moved in response to geographical, economic, and military considerations. The golden age of the Mrokyu kingdom was directly linked to its control over strategic trade routes and alliances with foreign powers like the Portuguese. Its extensive control over the Bay of Bengal coastline and the conquest of Chittagong during this period contributed to its economic prosperity. However, Mrokyu's decline was marked by the loss of Chittagong to the Mughal Empire and internal instability. This demonstrates how Mrokyu's strength and wealth were heavily dependent on external economic and military engagements, and how vulnerable it was to shifts in regional power balances. Colonial and post-colonial eras. Burmese annexation, Kanbong dynasty. In 1784 to 1785, the Kanbong dynasty conquered the Mrokyu kingdom, marking the end of an independent Rakhine monarchy. King Bodapaia's expansionist ambitions and internal conflicts within the Rakhine royal court were key factors in the annexation. The Mrokyu kingdom had been in gradual decline since the 18th century due to internal instability, rebellions, and the loss of Chittagong to the Mughal Empire. Mrokyu fell on January 2, 1785, after the Kanbong forces launched their invasion. The last king, Mahathamata Raza, along with his queen, royal family members, ministers, monks, and artisans, were captured and deported to Amarapura. This annexation led to Rakhine refugees fleeing to Bengal and increased tensions between the Burmese and the British East India Company. The Mahamuni Buddha image, a revered Rakhine treasure, was transported to Mandalay. British rule. Following the First Anglo-Burmese War 1824–1826, Rakhine was ceded to the British East India Company as war reparations under the Treaty of Yandabo in 1826. Rakhine was integrated as a province of British Burma and divided into 3 districts: Akiab Nao Sitwe, Kyaukuphu, and Sandowe. The British divide and rule policy exacerbated divisions among ethnic groups. This policy aimed to pit local ethnic or religious groups against each other to undermine unity. The influx of Muslim migrant laborers from Bengal into Rakhine created tensions with the local population. The British granted special privileges to minority groups, such as the Rohingya Muslims, further alienating them from the local Buddhist population. These actions increased anxieties and xenophobia within Buddhist communities. Additionally, the British directly undermined Buddhist authority by implementing policies that separated religion and state. Rakhine nationalist and pro-independence movements emerged against British rule, notably led by monks such as U Tama and Usenda. During the Japanese occupation in World War II, Rakhine gained autonomy and formed the Arakan Defense Force. Post-independence Myanmar. After Myanmar gained independence in 1948, Rakhine State became a division within the Union of Burma. From the 1950s onwards, movements for Rakhine independence and greater autonomy emerged. Conflicts intensified due to military coups in 1962 and 2021, along with Burmanization policies and the prohibition of ethnic language education. In response to this centralization and cultural suppression, ethnic armed organizations like the Arakan Army AA have been fighting for self-determination and autonomy. The AA, founded in 2009, now controls most of Rakhine State and aims to realize the Arakan dream. The conflicts between Rakhine Buddhists and Rohingya Muslims have been exacerbated by the military junta's divide and rule tactics. The British colonial divide and rule policies and encouragement of migration directly contributed ethnic tensions between Rakhine Buddhists and Rohingya Muslims, which continue to fuel present-day conflicts. Understanding this history is crucial for comprehending the deep-rooted socio-political issues of today. Rakhine State remains one of Myanmar's poorest regions, with criticisms that local communities do not benefit from regional economic projects. Notable Rakhine political parties include the Rakhine Nationalities Development Party (RN) and the Arakan National Party (AMP). Rakhine's post-independence history is characterized by a continuous struggle for greater autonomy or self-determination against the centralized Myanmar government. This struggle has led to the emergence of armed groups and the ongoing military conflicts. Rakhine culture and identity. Language. The Rakhine language, also known as Arakanese, is a northern Brahmi language spoken in Rakhine State, Bangladesh, and India. It is closely related to Burmese, with both languages descending from Old Arakans. However, Burmese speakers reportedly find it difficult to communicate with Rakhine speakers. The Rakhine language has distinct vocabulary differences. For example, sarong is dia in Rakhine, not lanji, as in standard Burmese, and a preference for archaic words. It also features pronunciation differences, for example, vs, j, and less voicing compared to standard Burmese. The Rakhine language possesses unique morphosyntactic features, including sentence structure and grammatical categories. The Rakhine script is derived from the Northern Brahmi script. Due to limited language dissemination, efforts are needed for Rakhine language preservation. Religion. The majority of Rakhine people are Theravada Buddhists. They are believed to be among the earliest adopters of Buddhism through South India. Historically, there have also been influences from animism and Hindu Brahmanism. The Mahamuni Buddha image is a sacred relic for the Rakhine people. Legends state that this image was cast during the Buddha's visit to Danyawadi. Buddhist monks were closely associated with the royal court during the kingdom periods, but their influence declined under British rule due to policies separating religion and state. Traditional arts and crafts. Rakhine culture is rich in distinctive arts and crafts. The durability, architectural skill, and ornamentation of Morocco period temples are noted by British archaeologist Emile Forkhammer as surpassing those along the Irrawaddy. Stone and bronze Buddha images crowned and uncrowned, the Mahamuni image, and miniature stupas are prominent examples of Rakhine sculpture. The traditional 10 flowers arts are also an important part of Rakhine culture. These include blacksmithing ironwork, sculpture wood carving, goldsmithing gold and silver work, bronze casting, stucco relief, masonry bricklaying, plastering, stone carving, turnery lathe work, painting, and lacquerware. These arts are deeply rooted in religious beliefs and social customs. The region also has a rich history of textile production, with organizations like Turquoise Mountain working with female weavers in northern Rakhine to produce heritage-based textiles. Festivals and customs. Rakhine people celebrate festivals and customs that reflect their unique culture. Sangrai Festival is the New Year celebration for the Rakhine and Marma ethnic groups, held from April 13th to 15th. The Ri Long Po water splashing ritual is a main attraction, symbolizing the washing away of impurities and welcoming the new year. The Buddha Pujaniya oil lamp choral dancing is a unique traditional Rakhine dance. This dance, accompanied by a song composed by Ubeda in 1965, is an offering to the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. It has become a historical milestone for Rakhine nationals, often performed at Union Day celebrations. However, the performance of this religious dance in beer pubs and restaurants has caused offense among the Rakhine people, highlighting challenges in preserving traditional customs in a modern commercial context. Other festivals include Buddha Purnima, Vasic full moon of Kaisan in May, commemorating the birth enlightenment and passing of the Buddha, and Pavarana Festival full moon of Thatan Jut in October, marking the end of Buddhist Lent with the release of lanterns into the sky. Traditional attire includes lungi for men and thabine for women. Naming conventions often follow Rakhine and Burmese languages, utilizing an astrology-based system. Rakhine culture has managed to preserve its distinct characteristics, language, artistic traditions, and festivals despite historical occupations and external pressures like Burmanization policies. This demonstrates the resilience and adaptability of Rakhine culture. Simultaneously, it has embraced influences from Indian and Burmese traditions, creating its rich cultural blend. However, the commercialization of sacred traditions, such as the religious dance, highlights modern challenges for cultural preservation. Conclusion: the formation and history of the Rakhine people have traversed complex and evolving stages, from ancient kingdoms to colonial rule and the post-independence era. Their origins are shaped by legends and genetic evidence suggesting a mix of Aryan, Indo-Aryan, and Tibeto-Burman influences. The succession of kingdoms Danyawadi, Vasali, Lemuro, and Morocco illustrates the shifting political centers of Rakhine, demonstrating how geographical factors like trade routes and defensive needs influenced their development. The Golden Age of the Morocco Kingdom, in particular, highlights its reliance on maritime trade and alliances with external powers, which paradoxically also contributed to its eventual decline. The divide and rule policies of British colonial administration and the encouragement of migration directly fueled ethnic tensions between Rakhine Buddhists and Rohingya Muslims, tensions that intensified in the post-independence period and continue to manifest in current conflicts. This historical context is crucial for understanding the deep-seated socio-political issues faced by Rakhine state today. Despite these historical challenges, Rakhine culture has preserved its unique language, artistic heritage, and traditional festivals. This resilience underscores the Rakhine people's determination to maintain their cultural identity. However, modern challenges, such as the commercialization of traditional customs, raise important questions about cultural preservation. In summary, the history of the Rakhine people is a complex tapestry woven from geographical influences, trade, politics, and cultural interactions. Understanding their past is essential for comprehending the intricate present-day situation in Rakhine State, and it will continue to shape the Rakhine people's aspirations for self-identity and self-determination in the future. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and meaningful content. This is just an introductory summary, and we will be sharing more detailed topics step by step in the upcoming episodes. So, we kindly ask you to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share, and we encourage you to stay tuned for more from our series.